Over the weekend, we received even more clarity on just how much money the Marvels made, or rather didn't make, at the box office. The numbers are so bad that even the media is finally chiming in to ask what in the world happened. There are even rumors that the Marvels made less than $45 million domestically on at least a $280 million budget. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. This is Jonas J. Campbell from That Park Place, where we cover entertainment, streaming, theme parks, and video games twice a day. Hit the like button or subscribe if you're interested in that kind of thing. Well, let's get into the conversation. I don't know if you guys have heard of this particular film. It's called The Marvels. Not many people watch this. It's kind of an indie sleeper hit.
Yeah, under the radar. I think I've heard whispers about it.
Yeah, it's what is it? Kind of a independent director coming up. I mean, it's this is interesting.
It does have an indie director. Her name was Nia DaCosta, and she directed Candyman. I think she actually directed the Candyman. I'm not so sure that she actually directed this film. I think she filmed what she was told to film on this one. Just throwing that out there. That maybe her voice did not appear in the finished product. I'm being mean at the start of this, but the Marvel's Meltdown, Disney's MCU, posts the lowest box office opening ever at $47 million. What went wrong? This one by Anthony D'Alessandro from Deadline. Anthony D'Alessandro's excellent box office coverage. He's a great appetizer to watching Valiant Renegades coverage. Sunday AM right through after the Saturday update. The last minute push for the Marvels with an appearance by Brie Larson on Friday's The Tonight Show. I've heard of that one. That used to be on television. And at a theater in New York City, post-actor strike have not moved the weekend grosses any higher for Marvel Studios. The Marvels, the film, is posting a 3-day at the bottom of yesterday's estimates with $47 million. The lowest vector ever for Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. Worldwide, per Nancy, which is probably Nancy Tartaglione, is $110 million. Just so everybody understands that international number, they see even less of that money than they do on the domestic figures.
Correct.
So, not to add insult to injury, but maybe to add accuracy, when you go to the numbers, they're saying that it didn't even reach 47 million. They're saying it's closer to 46 million and 109. Now there's some case for estimating here and saying it's close. And I'll throw in one more article here before we open this up for a little bit more discussion. After the Marvels bombs at the box office, what's next for the MCU? This from Rebecca Rubin of Variety. This paragraph right here is amazing. So it's been unsettling to find out that the Avengers are Earthbound after all. The Marvels, the 33rd installment in the MCU, and the sequel to 2019's billion-dollar behemoth, or Behemoth, because I get criticized for my pronunciation of Behemoth. I do. It's in the comments. Captain Marvel cratered with a $47 million opening in America and $63 million internationally, the lowest opening weekend in the franchise's history. Before this weekend, the worst debut belonged to 2008's The Incredible Hulk, $55.4 million, not adjusted for inflation, which premiered at the dawn of the MCU.
Oh, dude,
all I gotta say is
incredibly bad.
That's
oof. Okay, I've seen the Marvels, Spencer.
As have I. Yep.
What do you think went wrong with this one? Whether the film or the marketing or
you got anything? Time? I mean, here we go, guys. Subathon. We're going for 5 hours. Get your drinks ready. Get your diapers ready.
We need to have a mukbang to go over everything wrong with the Marvels.
Right? Seriously, turn up. Where do you? Honestly, I joke, but it is sort of a case of where do you begin? I feel like every single decision that went into this film was wrong, was bad, was poorly informed, just from the script, from the dialogue to Nia DaCosta not even being there, Marvel doing their typical movie production. Just, I think this was finally just one time too many, and everything just, it's not working anymore, and they really do need a revamp, because the Marvels is not great. It's not like bad preachy, it's not pushing the message or anything. It's just a bad film, just pure bad.
I think you're right, and what I have not said for any film in the MCU other than this one is I don't think that this is an actual complete film.
It feels more like a special. Like it feels like a special that was supposed to play after Miss Marvel's first season, and it's going to lead into the next movie and the next season and stuff, right? Like it feels like half a movie. I'm right there with you.
Like it may be an issue 0 or a prequel,
right?
comic
Yes, that's
leading
perfect.
up to something else. But at the same time, what is it leading up to? I mean, we've got 2 post-credit sequences in this one. One of them is actually a pre-credit sequence. So another reminder of Incredible Hulk.
That was also really weird.
And in this one, they promise you that there is going to be the Kid Avengers, which that predominantly male audience for the Marvels. And yes, you heard me correctly. A predominantly male audience came out to see the Marvels. Oh my goodness. I don't think they're interested in something called the Kid Avengers. They might be
predominantly older male audience too, like over 25. So like, I just like pointing that out because it means the narrative that everybody's going to try and push, the main one, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think they're going to be interested in Kid Avengers, maybe the Young Avengers, but still, they've been planting these seeds all along the way, whether it was WandaVision with Speedball and Wiccan, or the Falcon and Winter Soldier had one of the Falcon sidekicks was like messing with his jetpack.
Patriot was in there.
Yeah. And of course they just litter these things with side characters wherever they can to try to bring legitimacy to some lower hanging roles.
Like
I think about poor Lamar, who was Battlestar, which actually I liked Lamar.
I did too. I actually really liked him, and John are like the best part of that show.
I think you're right. Especially because Emily from Bandcamp is the worst. Bandcamp. They give her a closing shot that is supposed to look like, oh, it's this amazing revelation that she's the power broker.
Intimidating. Whoa.
Where, I mean, it looks like she's going for half price appetizers at Applebee's in order to recover from a day of having to teach chemistry to a bunch of middle schoolers. Not a great shot to end out that particular show.
It's definitely not intimidating. Yeah.
So that 33 movies figure does not include the TV shows that they have put out in the MCU. And now there was some instance where people were saying, oh, this should have been a Disney Plus series. This should have been on Disney Plus. Do you think that they were really saying that this should have been on Disney Plus? Or was that just straight up, this did not deserve to be in theaters?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? You have 2 characters who have really been set up, and the Disney Plus side of things, right? That maybe, hey, people didn't actually go and see, and now that's being augmented here by a really for real actress and Brie Larson right here.
For real.
Well, okay, so I say that slightly facetiously, right? So, but she didn't really do anything for Fast 10 when that came out. So they're thinking, hey, but she did really well with Captain Marvel. Let's see how this goes right here. And yeah, maybe an argument could be made that this be on Disney Plus, but I don't know, guys. Look, they spent $280 million. I understand they got a little tax credit back. I get it. They spent $280 million. So that's what they shelled out. They put their best foot forward here. I mean, how much money? Series spreading these whole concepts out. I mean, look, listen, you saw Loki's numbers. I mean, Loki is one of their best performing shows of this Disney Plus catalog for the MCU, and even that had a drop off from season 1 to season 2, as we just surmised on the show here right here. Are we really gonna, do a kind of secret invasion thing here where we spend tons and tons of money on this on a show that nobody watches and it doesn't get anything, doesn't get any buzz, or can we just put the film out and bomb and move on? I will say,
move on.
There is this idea, right, that it didn't do well because the actors weren't able to promote it. They weren't able to they weren't able to share it out on social media or whatever, do the Jimmy Kimmel appearances. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, it's like we got 2 actresses here that nobody's ever heard of, and then we have Brie Larson here, which is on the downswing, not the upswing. However, when we look at Variety, I thought that was pretty nice that they kind of dispel this and put this to bed here. They said, quote, "This is an unprecedented Marvel box office collapse," says David A. Gross, who runs the movie consulting firm Franchise Entertainment Research, quote, "The strike hurt the film's marketing, yes, but that's not what's driving these numbers." So kind of putting the record scratch right there on the whole thing.
How did we get in this position? No.
I mean, the one of the things that struck me about that narrative that was trying to be pushed, Vash, that you just obviously torpedoed, is that might play with, you know, other movies, but this is Marvel's 33rd movie in a franchise. Like, it's the MCU. You don't necessarily need more marketing than, hey, there's the next Marvel movie's out, right? Like, so that I don't come around here with that.
Well, and this has been historically a franchise. Oh, go ahead, Jonas.
There's enough online support that everyone has been talking about this movie, and the only thing
everybody knows it exists. Yeah,
that the only thing that has stopped it from being talked about is a brief break to talk about Rachel Zegler's comments about Snow White and disparaging the movie from 1937. So, and then we switch gears back to the Marvels, and here you go.
And this is a franchise that has transcended that kind of like big I don't know, actor or actress or I should say these films that are led historically by big actors and actresses, right? You don't necessarily need that in order to have a $1 billion hit for Marvel. They've been able to kind of bring people up in that way. This simply was a film that nobody was interested in seeing, and unfortunately, with that B Cinema score, will have bad legs from the bad word of mouth. It's just this is just a tough showing from the historically the most profitable film franchise in world history.
So I think that what I'm really hoping here is that Marvel walks away from this with the conclusion that maybe they need to start with a script instead of a budget.
Right.
So that maybe not everything needs to cost $300 million before you even decide who is going to be in charge of it. Maybe you need to lower the stakes a little bit. And then if you see you got something good, maybe then increase the budget if you think it's going to get more people in theaters. I think the conclusion that we're all kind of hinting around here is the idea that if Marvel is this strong brand, which maybe it's not, if Marvel is the brand, maybe you need to have the faith that a smaller story with let's say a more intimate cast could perhaps do a little bit better.
So Blade. No.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it
looks like they're cutting the budget of Blade down to $100 million, which, if it's going to be a samurai picture with some blood, then okay, yeah, you maybe don't need $100 million even to make that. So this conversation was originally part of That Park Place Live, which we do every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Feel free to hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified when we go live. Of course, like this video if you like this video. Share it out on social media if you know someone who might be interested, and we would be absolutely honored if you would subscribe to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.